So whenever we see a quote or an excerpt, our teacher is expecting us to find a lot of meaning in that. And oftentimes, this is some kind of symbolic or metaphorical meaning. Now, we might not agree with that, and we might not think that the author intended for um, a lot of these things to be taken out of context. The author might have intended for some of these things to be taken literally. However, as literature students, we need to find the point or meaning behind everything, and that's what we're expected to do. So we can be really fun with it, really creative with it. At the end of the day, a lot of these ideas are ideas that other people and critics and educators have already come up with. So not that original. How much of this is really true? We don't know. We can speculate. I do believe that a lot of the texts specified for your curriculum do have a lot of intended additional meaning attached to them for the particular text. Does that mean we should grab, just a regular novel we are reading for fun and try to analyze that in depth and find a bunch of symbols within that? Probably not, right? But for our text and literature, this is the point of the subject, finding the deeper meaning within every single word, phrase, sentence, wherever possible, um, and being able to either zoom into that and analyze that very closely or zoom out and relate that back to the views and values of the author and what they were trying to do. So, this is the key skills that we need to get good at, and this will be relevant for every single type of piece that you write, every single type of essay. So looking at this particular slide, we have a bubble that's saying what the author meant versus what your English teacher thinks the author meant. And this is essentially implying, because there's only a small overlap between the bubbles, that your English teacher is very only partially correct because the author might have meant entirely different things. And we can only speculate. We cannot know for sure. So that's brings us into another point, is that we cannot be definitive in literature. We cannot say this is absolutely what the author is trying to do. You know, they successfully suggest something. Do not use that kind of vocabulary. Do not be definitive. Do not do um, any kind of conclusions. Fence sitting, absolutely inappropriate. We can say something is suggested, implied, but we cannot um, say that what we think is exactly what they try to do. So with this example, we have a simple sentence like the curtains were blue. But your teacher might think that because the color blue is associated with sadness, that the curtains represent the character's immense depression and his lack of will to carry on. Now, this is an example, we might say this is a bit of an exaggeration. It is a bit of a hyperbole. However, say the color blue was repeating and repeatedly used as a symbol throughout your text, you might actually say that this is actually a fair assumption to make. If you've studied the Great Gatsby, you have the green light repeating within the text. It does hold some significance, but only due to um, its clear intended usage and the repetition of that word. So we always try to figure out what are some plausible interpretations that we can raise.